Welcome back to the channel, guys. Make sure you lock the car. Let's try to figure out where I have to go. This way. I'm over at Minneapolis Airport, but you probably figured it out by now. And it's time to leave my homeland again. Feels good. It's a very cold morning, but I was driving all night, so it's about 4 a.m. right now, and honestly, at this point, I'm still not entirely sure if they're gonna let me on the flight, but I'll explain as I keep going. Let's go. Even though 2/3 of the population is fully vaccinated, masks are still required at airports here. So I was looking through my bag because I completely forgot about this. Looking through my bag, and luckily I still have some masks from Africa of all places. But over the last year and a half, I've always had like at least 5 masks in my bag. So peaceful for 4 a.m. Nice classical music. Anyway, so basically the crux of the problem is there's a transit through Qatar, and Qatar changed the rules, or I just never saw it, it was never mentioned, that you need a COVID test to transit through Qatar because of the Delta variant coming in from India, because there's so many workers of that entire region in you know, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Dubai. So that being said, I don't have a COVID test yet. The plan is that I'm going to try and get on that first flight, and then I connect in one more place in the United States before I leave the country. So I'm going to see if they let me on that flight, and then during an 8-hour layover I'm going to rush to go get a COVID test. But I kind of feel like there's an unlikely probability that it'll happen. So I guess we won't know until we try. Okay, so this is the airport. As you can see, masks required. We got our nice little art stuff. Alright, the moment of truth. We're looking, and then
confirmation.
It's saying no. I have to go see the agent, but there's a line. There's no agent. Maybe just because Ospreys are meant for this. I know if I rip it up too, then it's had a good life. I guarantee this is treating it nicer than most African airplanes, so it's okay. I was just thinking, as the line is finally moving, there's 2 people here, but as the line starts moving, I've been looking at the airlines and I'm thinking, I've taken every single one of these airlines. Every single one of these airlines. From American to Spirit to Alaska, Denver Air Connection, Boutique, United, Air Canada, Delta, Icelandic Air, every single one of these airlines I've taken, so it's a nice feeling.
Hi. Checking in, you guys?
Nope, just backpack.
Alright, so I got the first boarding pass. Since it's international, you'll just have to check in with the next airline when you get to Seattle.
Alright, will do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
When I say thank you so much, I actually mean it. Not just the typical American thank you so much. I mean it because they gave me the boarding pass. Huzzah! Okay. First obstacle down. Now, next up is we gotta get over to Seattle. The flight's in 2 hours now. I came so early, but I wanted to make sure there's enough time in case anything happened. But now just over to Seattle, and then I gotta get the COVID test over there. So I think I'm just gonna skip ahead all the way until there. So, woo! Okay, so now we've arrived in Seattle, and my first order of business is to go to the Qatar Airways desk, and I'm actually gonna ask them if I do indeed need this test. I'm pretty sure they're gonna say yes, but if they say no in some weird chance, it'll save me a lot of stress. But I just have to go find out where they're at right now. My flight actually leaves in like 8 hours, so there's gonna be nobody at the gate, so I need to find a place where Qatar Airways just flew in and see if I can go talk to the gate agents there. They might have an idea. So let's see what we find. Alright, so as I expected, there wasn't anyone there for Qatar Airways because the flight doesn't depart for a few hours. So I found somebody else from the staff who found somebody else who usually works for them, and they said, yeah, because your vaccination, my last vaccination was like 10 days ago, so it needs to be over 14 days. That's the first problem. The second problem though is that also now to transit you need a PCR test through Qatar. So that being said, now I have to go get the COVID test. So we have to figure out where to get it. They told me done this way. They told me you can do it on the airport campus at baggage carousels 8 to 9, or you can take a taxi over to, there's a hotel about 8 minutes away that you can do it over there too. But I just hope that I can get in today, so we'll see what happens. I think that's it, actually, right there. Express check. But like I said, it's like 250 bucks. So probably one of the most expensive COVID tests I've ever done, so that's okay. Okay, so I'm just waiting in line right now. We'll see if they actually even allow me to do a walk-in here, but the other option then is to go downtown and go do it. But the one thing I want to talk about is just how horribly slow the US has been to do vaccinations at airports, because almost every other developed country, of course UAE, but even like Turkey, you can do COVID tests at the airport. Ukraine, you can do COVID tests at the airport. You can do it really quickly for really cheap. Here, it takes a long time. Luckily now, this is like the first place I've ever seen that you can get it like the same day or like rapid. But then, like I said, it's 250 bucks. Just getting like a rapid test is also, I think, over $100. So, and you can't even use that to fly. So it's just, it's stupidly expensive. And just, this should have been done a really long time ago. Okay, we got it. So now I'm sitting in one of the booths, just waiting for them to come over and give me the thing. But 250 bucks. I guess is okay. They were able to get me as a walk-in pretty quickly, so I was probably only waiting there for like 20 minutes. There was a whole line of appointment people, but they said based on like when your flight is coming, then they could help me push through quicker. So they're gonna be tested here, and they said it'll probably take about an hour and a half, and I'll get the results in hand, inshallah. So let's see. All right, I'll try to videotape when he gives me a swab. Sometimes in the US they don't like it. Other countries they have no problem with it, but I guess we'll see. Okay, test time.
Yeah. There you go. All right.
Good. Test number 47 of the year. He's actually a super nice guy. So he was saying that at this place in Seattle, like I said, this is the only place at the airport, but they do about 190 tests per day. And he said, I was asking him when's the last time they saw a positive, which I don't know if it's good news or bad news for the United States. He said over the last few days, they do like thousands of tests. He only got one just a few days ago. So it's like one every few thousand that they'll get a negative or a positive. So he said it's kind of like a gem. Like they actually kind of, I don't say they like it, but like it's surprising for the healthcare workers because like, hey, something interesting is happening. But maybe that's good that people, either that they're traveling in, that they're not carrying it, or that they're already vaccinated and they just need the test for bureaucracy stuff. There's actually a lot of Canadians here because the Canadian border is pretty close up. So they're getting the test just so they can go back up into Canada. So anyway, should be all good. They said wait about an hour and a half. Should be good to go. Okay, success. I was waiting here for about an hour and a half maybe, and then they called me over. I got an email at the exact same time and the papers that say you're negative. So great, I'm so happy I paid 250 bucks for something I already knew. This is the most expensive COVID test I've gotten anywhere. It was probably this one. The second most expensive was also in the United States, 125 bucks when I came back from Tanzania. So yeah, always the US is the most expensive. The most expensive other than that I've seen, Serbia went up to 125 after I left, but I've never had to pay that. The most I've ever paid otherwise has been like 50 bucks. In Afghanistan and Ukraine, it was about 50 bucks. So 45 actually or something like that. So in the United States, we need to get it together on getting our tests, having a good price, getting up our speed and that kind of stuff. This is a rare airport because you can even get tested at the airport. So anyway, now that I have all my certification, I should be okay to fly. A big breath of fresh relief. I didn't think that it would happen. I was giving it like a 5 or 10% chance. I thought something would go wrong. So I'm actually really happy with this. So I'm gonna go get some food now and then maybe have a beer just to relax. And then the flight starts boarding in like 5 hours, or the flight leaves in 5 hours. So we should be all good. So an interesting thing that gets in the way. So I'm going, of course, to Qatar Airways right now, getting the registration done. And they told me that beside the PCR test and all this kind of stuff, there's also an additional registration form that apparently you're supposed to do. Didn't know about this. I was telling them on their website, you know, and when you're doing on the booking, when you talk to them, everything, there's no information on it, which is kind of stupid because it used to be at the beginning of COVID traveling that all the rules were laid out kind of straight, and then in the middle it started getting kind of wishy-washy, and it was like you can follow them if you want. But now there's rules and they don't tell you about the rules, or like it's hard to find them. So I looked everywhere and I didn't see any of these rules. So luckily there are things that can kind of quickly be fixed, but so it took about 20 minutes here to do this online registration. I don't even know what it's for. Now that it's through, I guess about 20 minutes I'll get a code and then I can actually do the registration. So one more obstacle, but we're on the way. Success. I was really planning that this wasn't going to happen, but everything worked out. I got the registration. It took about 20 minutes, but it's just a little code. But I'm happy to get it because there's, I'd say, I mean, in the line of people, even the flight is like 2 hours away. There's a whole line of people, and I'd say maybe like, probably like 1 in 5. Probably 1 in 5 aren't able to get on the flight for a variety of reasons. Whether it's the visa restrictions have changed, or they don't have a COVID test, or timed out, or they're not able to log into the system, or so they're rebooking a lot of people, which is really fascinating because this wasn't happening before. So I was expecting COVID travel to be getting easier, but for some reasons that's not the way it's going. It seems to be getting more difficult, or it's getting more logistically complicated. So Anyway, we should be all good now. So I got the documents, like I said. So I'm gonna go into the terminal. Now I can finally have my relaxing beer. Now they don't discuss about anything else. And we should be smooth sailing. So I'll shoot just as we're boarding. Okay, see you guys. Finished up my well-deserved beer. And now it's time to board. Boarding starts a few minutes ago, but I'm always late. I always like to be the last one on the plane because then you see what the other options are. You see how many people are on there, and also when you get on the flight, then you see where the open rows are, especially for a 15-hour flight. You want to take the full row all to yourself. You know, I really should mention though, my thoughts about leaving the United States. What I don't like about the US is how predictable it is, how safe it is, so I don't look forward to leaving that. But I do miss being around a lot of the English language. Everything is so easy here. Like I can talk to anybody and they'll understand exactly what I'm saying. Like I don't have to slow down and enunciate like this. So I'll miss that kind of stuff. And also like the common American things that we all share. But I always love the diversity of the planet. So I'm ready to go. All right, let's go board.
Thank you.
Screaming kids, you gotta love it. Let's see if I can get the money shot of where the airline is all super friendly. They're like, Salam alaikum. Very nice. Hello, welcome. I gotta get my ticket out. Hi.
Thank you. The other side.
Thank you.
Well, I did
And with that, it's going to be a 14-hour flight, so I'm not going to record anything. This video is going to go way too long. I'm so sorry. Thank you for watching all the way until this point. Take your pause, take your bathroom break right now. But, okay, we should be all set. I'm just going to make a nice little clip as we go off into the sky, and then maybe I'll wake up when we arrive in Qatar. So, good night. It's a 14-hour flight, so I'm going to sleep. I wish it were me. Nope, I'm not Ryan Johnson. But I was just thinking, I should tell you guys about one of my favorite tricks I've been doing during COVID. The art of traveling is always being able to save money in different kind of small ways. So every time I leave the airplane during COVID, they give you a little packet that includes like hand sanitizer, some gloves, and some masks and that kind of stuff. And that's normal for all the airlines, or at least the big international airlines. Emirates, Qatar, even Delta and everything, they all do this. But one of my favorite little things is that every time I take one of these international flights, in this little packet they give you a mask or two. And of course, usually you already have your own mask, but I always take those. And then if I'm in like sleeping in an entire row by myself for this long flight, then I'll also take the masks out of those. So then every flight, then you're leaving with like 6 masks or whatever. So if you do that every time, then I don't think I've bought masks in like 3 or 4 months. That's probably saved me about $60 worth of masks because I just have so many of them and I keep them in my bag and I give them out to Shubham and everything. So like I said, it's these small things. You learn how to, you know, whether you're a master in credit card details or whatever. This is one of the ways that I save money when I'm traveling. Okay, I was bored. I was being stupid, I'll admit. And I accidentally left my GoPro in the trolley by accident. I don't know exactly how it happened, but I came back and I found it was still sitting there. That would only happen in Dubai or in Qatar or in like one of these Gulf countries that people won't steal it. So I was really lucky on that. And like, it reminds me that I need to put a tracker or something on it, but okay, let's board. Now it's entering like hour 30 or something for me, but it's only like what, I know 10 minutes for you now. The question of whether or not COVID travel is ending is a really good question. The rules are getting more strict, and like I said on the flight here, there was a lot of people that were denied boarding, but yes, there's a lot more people flying, and a lot more countries are opening up. The flights are almost always full. Like I said, this one is getting more full, whereas in the middle of COVID and at the beginning, I was getting so comfortable with being like one of only 20 or 30 people on the flight that you'd have all your space. You'd have that luxury of being able to go to sleep or not being worried about getting it from the person sitting right next to you. But as it keeps going though, yes, the countries are opening up, and it's been like a whirlwind over the last month of like all of Europe opening. Still Southeast Asia at this point is not opened, but that being said, then you're getting tourists from all over the world that are starting to travel again. Against the odds I projected, I really actually didn't expect it to be here. I thought that something would have gone wrong at like the 5 different points. So even though, you know how sometimes like when you book a flight, or you know how sometimes when you want to do something and you make the plans to do it, but you know it's not going to happen? That's exactly how I felt this morning. Hey.
Hi.
I guess I'm popular. I should have just spoken Hindi to them, they would have liked it. I'm going to wrap up the video here because it was a success. We made it. We saw what travel is like at the end of COVID. Is COVID travel dead? I think yes, because things have opened up much more than it used to be. There's still some little components that are going to hang on, but I think there's things that might hang on for a really long time. Things like PCR tests, especially in, the whole of Africa. Africa is going to be really slow to vaccinate, and so I can imagine PCR still being needed to go to Africa for a while. But no, things are getting back to normal. So okay, I'll go through immigration, and then maybe I'll run into Shubham. But first, I have to go driving way out into the villages. I'm going to go driving for like 3 hours. 3 hours. And it's already midnight here, so it's going to be a nice and long night to my chronicle that never ends. Okay, see you guys later. Good morning, guys. A little clip. We've been driving all throughout the night, and my wonderful driver. And the sun rises in, I think at 5:41. So in like 15 minutes. But it's just breathtakingly beautiful. The mountains are... Okay, we finally reached it. Up a ladder. Shubham bye. And just in time for the sunrise. The sunrise is from that direction.
Oh, yeah, sundown. This is sunset area.
This is nice. Yeah, this is the sunset. Okay, well, we've reached it. Good night. I'm finally gonna go to sleep.
Good morning.